Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the Footy Channel Groundhopper for a transfer show. I don't know what happened there, but I'm sure that's one that's going to be clipped. Um, so before we get into today's show, we'll just go through the little few formalities as usual. If you do enjoy today's show, then please do smash a like. It does help the channel up the search, and it means new viewers find the channel more easily. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and hit the subscribe, come be part of this great community. Also, hit the bell notification that will let you know when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. You can always become a member. It's 99p. You can do that by clicking the join button. And also, if you want to make a donation, do that chat, clicking on $, all money reinvested in the channel. I am looking to do some prize giveaways over the summer. So if you want to be involved with them, you know what to do. Hit that join. Right. So then, this mini transfer window comes to an end today. It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Having the transfer window open for a week and then closing, but it's because of the club World Cup rather. Sorry. So it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Club World Cup. So it's a bit of a strange one, but it's only shut, I think, for about 6 days, and then it reopens again. So it isn't too bad, opens back up on the 16th of June and then closes on the 1st of September. So, so anyway, we are linked with some players. But let's go into the comments first, and then we'll go on to the players who we're linked with. First chat, what's my price, says Jay. It's a hello, Jay. Hope you're well. Afternoon, good afternoon, Mason. Hope you're well too. Hi, Tony, says Trolls. Hi to you, mate. Hope you're well too. It's nice to have a live, isn't it? You and a pair of Gillespie gloves from 5 years ago, brand new, never worn. Oh, God. Spit it out, Tony. That Thora's watching. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, God, honestly. I really hope Wilson says no to a new contract. He ain't good enough anymore. I love the lives, Tony. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a few of these over the summer anyway, so I said there would be some live shows anyway. I mean, as I say, this mini transfer window, it's it is what it is. It's only a week. It closes today, will we send anybody before the end of this one? I don't think we will. To be honest with you. But we're going to have a look at players that have been linked. Now, these are not necessarily signing for the club, and as I always say this on every transfer show I've ever done. So if you're new to this, go back and watch other transfer shows, and I've said exactly the same thing. It's all about looking at the players who are linked. But until they are actually signed officially by the club with the shirt on, that's when you know they've come true. But as I say, they're all rumours at the moment until they actually do sign for the club. So we'll have a look at some players and see if they fit the bill. And shall we get into it? Oh, but before we do that, if you haven't seen, I did put a video out this morning regarding the England game yesterday. So if you want to watch that at your leisure, it's there to watch. And you can have a look back at that as well. Right, so we'll recap. Obviously, Friday we heard the news of that we'd gone back in for Anthony Elanga of Nottingham Forest. We do need a right winger, and he's a right winger with a lot of pace. Dan Burn knows he's got a lot of pace. We all remember when he ripped Dan Burn to bits that day on Boxing Day. We can never forget that one. So anyway, Elanga is a 23-year-old winger. They signed him from Man U for £15 million. He can play left wing or right wing, so he can play on either flank. He is right-footed. He is Swedish as well, so obviously knows Isak very, very well. His strengths are his playmaking. His weaknesses is his ball control. So on his 38 appearances in the Premier League last season, he averages around the 7 out of 10 mark. So that's not too bad. So let's have a look what he got last year. So he started 31 games out of 38. You got Team of the Week twice in that season. He scored 6 goals and he got 11 assists. So, again, not bad. He got 11 assists for that as well. His accurate passing is 78%. And his crossing is accurate at 23%. So, again, not too bad. He does get back and tackle as well, but his ball recoveries per game is 2.3. He has made 21 appearances for Sweden since his debut in 2022 and has got 4 goals as well. His disciplinary record last season was very impeccable indeed. 1 yellow card all season, no second yellows, and certainly no reds. So, as a disciplinarian, he's very, very good on that score. Now, let's look at the game that he played the other day, and he played for Sweden in the World Cup qualifying, I believe. If we can get that one up, and then we can have a look. Sorry, it wasn't a World Cup qualifier. It was a friendly, wasn't it, the other day that he played for Sweden. And that was against Hungary when they won 2-0. Obviously, he didn't score in that game. But he did end up with a decent, as I say, a decent average on Friday night. Where he actually got 6.5 for the night. So we'll closely look at what his stats were for Friday night. So he played the whole game, the whole 90 minutes. 1 out of 3 dribble attempts was successful. He hit the woodwork once. He missed 2 big chances. 14 out of 17 passes were accurate, giving him an 82% rate. 1 key pass, 4 crosses, 2 of them were accurate. He won 2 out of 7 ground duels. He lost possession 9 times. He made 1 foul. He was fouled once, and he was offside once as well. So, yeah, I suppose not a bad evening, but not at his scintillating best as he has been previously. Which, as I say, that's only a friendly. So, suppose you've had a long old season, and But we'll look at one of the games he had this season. We'll go back to March when he played against Ipswich, and he got an 8.5 against Ipswich Town. He played 67 minutes. He scored 2 goals in that game. 13 out of 15 passes were accurate, giving him an 87% rate. None out of his 5 crosses were accurate, though. He had 2 shots on target. Obviously scored with both. 3 out of 5 ground duels were won. He lost possession 11 times. He got fouled once, he was offside once, and he made a clearance as well. 2 tackles, and he dribbled past as well. So he got an 8.5 that day. So obviously I reckon he got man of the match as well. So how much would he cost? I mean, there's fees being banded about round about the £50 million mark, but I don't think he's worth £50 million in all honesty. I think with Elanga, you've got to say maybe 40 million. I don't think he's definitely worth anywhere near 50 million, that's for sure. SofaScore do have him down at 40 million euros. So, that's possibly about the right amount. Probably around about 33, 34 million pound. Maybe add the tax on top of that, the Saudi tax as we get called. So yeah, so say 40 million, I would say max for Elanga. I don't know what your thoughts are on Elanga. Do let me know in the chat. Right, let's nip into some comments. Troll says, I saw Liverpool preparing a £100 million transfer for Isak. They got no chance. Not 100 million. He's worth a lot more than that. Thought it was a 16th. It's the 8th today. What, the transfer window? Yeah, closes today, Mason. And then reopens. And they want Gordon. This has become the comedy show. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. Yeah, it is the 16th. Mason's had about 3 in this one. He has, hasn't he? 3 Sinclairs. I can't see Forest letting him go for less than 60 million, says Wacky. Weaknesses is ball control. That's not good in any way, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah, I said today the 8th, but it's closed for 6 days. You maybe got mixed up there, Mason. Need to take off the drunk glasses. Oh, God. Elanga ain't worth 60 million. If that's the case, I hope we say no, thank you. Big question is, does he have any IKEA? It means, does it wear the black and white and meatballs on the move? Afternoon, says David. Good afternoon, David. Hope you're well, my friend. I've got that t-shirt. It's really nice. Nice one, mate. He says, and he was going to the Cellar Day. I've not got my ticket yet, so I may do. I quite like the Amari Hutchinson from Ipswich. He's got a good potential. Not a first choice, but would be a good backup. Yeah, that's not a bad shout at all. Elanga is the same as Murphy, except he's Swedish. Nothing too special, in my opinion. That's 5 now, says Mason. Yeah, that is 5 now. Yeah, so for me, I mean, look, yes, he's pacey. He's a winger. But the thing is, we know Eddie Howe can improve these players. That's the thing. Eddie Howe can improve these players. So at 23, he's the right age. He's young. But if you look at recent reports that Bournemouth are offering £20 million for Bakayoko from PSV, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. Would that not be a better option? Because he's only 21. Do you know what I mean? So it's, yeah. I mean, I can look at Bakayoko's stats as well and give you his stats from last season and see how he shapes up. So Bakayoko in the Eredivisie last season, and he's a right winger with a left foot. Passing, positioning, high pressing are his strengths. He's got no weaknesses. So he started 17 out of 30 games last season, and he scored 9 goals, and he got only 1 assist. So yeah, that's a bit poor from a winger, really, isn't it? You know, he made 30 appearances, but only got 1 assist. So to me, yeah, a lot of work would probably need doing on him, I reckon. But there again, you know, we know what Eddie can do with these players as well. What he says, remember, they turned down a £50 million bid from the Toon last year, so it won't be less than that. Yeah, I kind of get where you come from, but we went in the last minute, didn't we, offering that money to see if they would actually accept it. So that's why we went in with that offer. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But, you know, it's all rumours, all speculation. And at the end of the day, we just look at these players, whether they come to the club or not. But at least if they haven't come to the club, at least we've had a look at them. And that's the fun part of it. There's always going to be rumours. You know, we're always going to be linked with players. And remember, we've got Champions League. Jay says, Bakayoko will definitely take. Cherky missed out on a class player. Me personally would have liked Openda. Can't beat him. He's pace. He's flipping fast, says Jay. I mean, yeah, Shirky, he's another one. I mean, look, we know we were linked with him, and I think back in January. And I think at the time, Eddie Howe didn't want to take him on because he said he had a bit of an attitude problem. But he's 21, you know, and he would have been fantastic. He can play right wing in an attacking midfield. Consistency, long balls and playmaking is his strengths. If we take a look at his figures last season in Ligue 1, as I just showed me Nations League at the moment. Right, so in Ligue 1, he started 22 out of 30 games. He got 8 goals and 11 assists. I mean, that's there. And I think in January, you could have had him for like 12 to 13 million quid. It's absolutely unreal. He's only contracted for another season. He's out of contract next year. And he's on his, obviously, City are taking him. And I tell you what, he's one hell of a player. And if he's as good a player in the Premier League as he's been in France, then City will have a bargain on their hands. Absolutely, 100%. So, yeah. Shame that Sem Stein wasn't on the radar. He's going to final for 15 million euros. His stats and goals, games ratio are impressive as a midfielder. Yeah, I know who you're on about as well. We'll just have a quick delve into his stats. Sem Stein, I think they call him. He's Dutch. He's 23 years of age. He's actually an attacking midfielder and a central midfielder, so he's not a winger as such. But direct free kicks and penalty taking are his strengths. His ball control is his weakness. But in the Eredivisie last season for FC 20, he played 32 out of 33. Well, he started 32 out of 33 games. He was in Team of the Week 7 times in Holland. He scored 24 goals and got 7 assists. That's from midfield. That's insane, them stats. They are insane. And he picked up 3 yellows all season. That's insane. But it's not an attacking midfielder we need. It's a winger we need. Whether you could convert him to a winger, I don't know. But those stats are massive, aren't they? Right, okay. So, another player that we've been linked with, and this one came out yesterday, and that is João Pedro of Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, João Pedro, we could have had him a couple of years ago for 30 million, a few years ago, sorry, for 30 million. But the deal was almost done. According to Fabrizio Romano, it was like, here we go. And then all of a sudden, everything went quiet. And the next thing we know is Dan Ashworth's bringing Isak back on an aeroplane back to Newcastle. So all I can think of at that time was, because the Isak release clause was decent, Ashworth said, hang on a minute, drop him, go for Isak. We can get him. Because Arsenal had offered 50 million and Sociedad turned it down. So we went back in and we offered the money and they accepted our offer. So I think that's why João Pedro got dropped as he did back then. But he's a Brazilian, 23 years of age, plays in attacking midfield or striker. So he can play in that number 10 role as well. His shirt number is obviously number 9 at Brighton. Penalty taking, positioning and high pressing are his strengths. So as you know, we play with a lot of high intensity football, so he's right up there for us. Ball control is his weakness. So let's have a look at his stats from last season in the Premier League, because that'll give us a better idea. So in the Premier League, he started 23 out of 27 games. He got Team of the Week 4 times. He scored 10 goals and got 6 assists. So again, that's not bad stats. And again, he can improve. Good age. How much will he cost? That's a good question. They say Brighton won about 60 million. I can't see him going for 60 million. For me, I would say maybe 50 million max again. But who knows? Who knows? It's certainly going to be an interesting one with João Pedro. Do you think you would fit in at Newcastle? I think you would. If Eddie's thinking on playing 2 strikers, then yes, he could play him up front with Isak. I think they would complement each other. Then if João Pedro does sign, does that spell the end of Callum Wilson once and for all? Does that mean then Wilson moves on? Because is Eddie wanting to keep Wilson for the simple reason that if we don't get a backup striker in, at least he's got a backup in Wilson, even though I think Wilson's done at Premier League level, I'm afraid. Whatever your thoughts are, get them in the chat there and get them in the comments. Look at his previous season too for that Sam Steen. Right, let's go and have a look. Then I'll have a look and see what his previous season was as well. Just out of curiosity. So that was 24-25 for Sam Steen. The season before, 32 games, started out with 34, and he scored 17 goals and got 3 assists. That's a 1-2 ratio. Wow, that is some stats for a midfielder. I mean, that is some stats. What he says, Pedro price is too high. Brighton wants 70 million or more than that than you paid for Isak. That's the thing. We're going to have to pay top dollar for these players. Which is why, this is why I'm going to come to my next point is, why are we constantly going for Premier League players? Premier League players are overpriced. We need to start shopping abroad. Now, I know Eddie Howe likes the Premier League ready players, and I get that because it's a safe option, because we know they're playing week in, week out in the Premier League and they're Premier League ready. And when you get a player from abroad, you don't know if he's going to settle straight in or how long it's going to take to bed this player in. Now, look, when Tonali first joined, and he started against Villa, he got a goal on his debut, didn't he, against Villa in the Premier League. So, look, players can hit the ground running. They certainly can. And so for me, I think sometimes you have to shop abroad because you do get some decent bargains abroad, Absolutely you do. So for me, I would like to see us do some shopping abroad. I mean, if we're looking at a centre-back, why don't we go and get Tomori from Milan? Probably a downside cheaper than buying Mark Gui from Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? But, I'll give you one stat about looking at players back in... we were looking at a player a couple of seasons ago because Steve Nixon was scouting him. And I think he was only available around about the £7 million, £6.9 million mark. And he fitted the bill really well. I think it was before we got Tonali, because he can play as a defensive midfielder and a central midfielder. In long balls and playmaking are his strengths. And he's 23 years of age now, and he plays for FC Porto. And his name is Alan Varela. Now, some people may remember that name, and I did remember doing a transfer show on him. Last season he started 26 out of 31 games, didn't score a goal, but got 2 assists. That's because he's more of a DM. And then in his debut season, which was 23-24, he started 28 out of 30 games and got 2 goals and 3 assists. So for me, Alan Varela, as I say, they got him cheap. But now, he's obviously worth a lot more than 6.9 million. He's, according to Transfer Market, he's worth around 32 million quid. And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes if you go to South America, you pick up these bargains in South America. And when you pick up these bargains in South America, some of them come good. Some of them may not adapt to European football. But there is players out there. You look at City, they've done it. Brought players in, So it just goes to show sometimes you've just got to go shopping in that market for players. And I've always said, go shopping in the South American. Look at Brazil, look at Argentina, look at Ecuador, You look at Caicedo. Brighton picked him up for 4 million, sold him for 115 million. That's a massive, massive profit. Even if you got a player in and he'd done 1 season or 2 seasons and he was outstanding, and say Madrid comes in and says, we'll give you 120 million. You take it, you snap the hands off, because you can always replace that player. But then just think, it butchers your FFP and PSR up. So that's what and I don't get why we don't do a lot more of that, Like we did it with Minty when we brought him in. We brought him in for 5 million, sent him on loan for the season of Feyenoord, come back. Obviously, we had to sell him because of that damn well 3-letter words, which I hate, PSR. But we made a profit on him. We made a quick buck on him. So, there is players out there. It's just going out there and finding them and scouting them. So I would like to see us touch that South American market a lot more. Look at other markets. We've got this Cordero coming in on a free. He's a talent. I want to see what he can do in pre-season. I don't want him just sent straight out on loan. I want to see him what he does in pre-season. Because I don't want another Minty situation where he goes out on loan, has a cracking season. Say if he goes to Ajax, for instance, because that's where he's been touted to go on. Goes there for a season, does brilliant for the season, and then, somebody comes in and says, we'll take him. Oh, yeah, right, okay, we'll sell him on, without even seeing him in a Newcastle shirt. So I don't want us to be in that situation again. And we've got Salia coming in as well, and we've got Pivas coming back. I mean, I'm not sure how many games he played last season for FC Willem II. Pivas, I don't think he really played a lot. And again, to me, that is another wasted loan, in my opinion. So we'll have a look at his stats from last season in the Eredivisie. There you go. I rest my case. He made 5 appearances, didn't start a game. They were all substitutes. He played 42 minutes in total. And he wasn't involved in the team with a clean sheet. Well, but there again, he wasn't on the pitch long. So again, to me, that was a wasted loan in my opinion. He had work permit problems. Okay. I mean, Salia, we can have a look at his stats because he's coming in. Vakhtang Salia from Dynamo Tbilisi, 17 years of age, but he's actually joined us in August because he can't move till he's 18. He's a striker. Ground duels are his weakness, apparently. But there again, the guy's only 17. He's got a long way to go, so he's gonna learn from that anyway. So obviously in the Georgian league, he started 9 out of 16 games. He's got 1 goal and 2 assists. So again, and he's picked up 4 yellow cards in there as well. But again, as I say, he's 17. He's got a long way to go. Again, when he comes in, it might be something just to put him in with the reserves and see how he does in Premier League 2 with the under-21s before we do send him anywhere on loan. And he could be a huge talent in years to come as well. So we just have to be patient with these people who are coming in. And as I say, we can look at Cordero's stats as well. He played in La Liga 2 last season. And his stats from last season, 23 started out with 39 appearances, scored 6 goals and 6 assists. So that's not bad for a youngster who was 18 years of age. And it's only going to get better and better, by the way. So, yeah. And look, the saying his market value is 2 million, but he's a left winger as well. This is another one for the future, but a one who can also play now, and that's why I want to see him, give him a chance in the pre-season games as well. What you said, I'd rather see some of them go on loan to Championship or League One teams to get them used to the physicality of English football. No more Scots Third Division. Yeah, I agree with that one, Wacky. I mean, look, the likes of Pivas, you could send him on loan to a Championship club or a League One club, you know. So you could send him there, absolutely. Cordero looks useful, can play both wings under Eddie. He will be straight on loan, no doubt. yeah, another one that'll probably be going on loan. But as I say, I want to see him get some game time in pre-season before we send him on loan. Right. So let's look at another player whose name is constantly being linked with us as well. And apparently we're in for him yet again. There he is. And it's Mark Gui. There we go. Everybody's favourite centre half. So, what sort of season did he have last season? Well, he had a rotten season, didn't he? Scored for us last season as well, by the way. But yeah, he didn't have the best of seasons, did he? Although he's a cup winner, he's an FA Cup winning captain. 24 years of age, so still at a good age for him and Botman to have a good, successful partnership at the back. And he can actually play left back as well. Ground duels are his strengths. And he is worth £40 million, and that's apparently what Palace are looking for now. Because remember, they can't play this game too much because he's out of contract next year. And if they keep pushing for a lot of money for him and nobody buys him, they're going to run the risk of losing him on a free. So, anyway, last season he started 34 games out of 34. He got 3 goals, 2 assists. But we'll look at his defending anyway. He's involved in a team that had 11 clean sheets. He does 1.8 tackles per game. Balls recoveries 4.3 per game, so that's not bad, and 4.6 clearances per game as well. In terms of bookings, he had 7 yellow cards. 1 resulted in 2 yellows, which resulted in a red, and a red card as well. So the fact that he can play left back as well, as I say, is a bonus as well. But yeah, look, they bought him from Chelsea for £22 million back in July 2021. So he's been there for 4 years. And look, would I be against this transfer? While I didn't think he had the best of seasons, I'm still not massively against it. If the price is right, and if they're saying £40 million is the price, then okay, I'll take that. I'll take that absolutely. So yeah, for me, I would, because as I say, he's at the right age. Him and Botman. If Botman can stay clear of the injuries, which I'm sure he can, I think we'd have a solid defence there, because we'd have Gui, we'd have Botman, we'd have Hall and Livramento. So we'd have a good young back four that can grow. Remember, Arsenal did that years ago when they had Dixon, Bold, Adams, Winterburn. They were the defensive unit for a long, long time, and they were very successful. So, that's the sort of model that we need to look at. And that's what we can do if we signed Mark Gui as well. So, yeah, I'm not totally against it. What's your thoughts, Mark Gui? Yes or no in the chat? If you don't like it, explain your reasons why you don't want Gui. And remember, he's an England international as well. So I think £40 million would be a steal. Scored twice for you last season. Yes, he did, absolutely. I wouldn't go any more than 45 million, but you can watch Liverpool come in and pay 55 to 60. Well, if that's the case, then obviously, yeah, but we'll have to wait and see. The transfer window's a funny window, isn't it? There's always rumours. Last 3 seasons, we placed 4th, 7th and 5th. That's pretty good for a team that hasn't bought much in that time and had a player banned for 10 months. Do you know what, Trolls? Absolutely. 3 windows we haven't bought for. And we've also won a cup as well. So I think we've done really, really well. Last season, when we finished 7th, not last season, the season before rather, because this one's just finished, hasn't it? So it's the season before last. But when we finished 7th, in that season when we had Champions League, considering the amount of injuries we had as well. It was just an absolute freak that we did not get Europe, all because of Man U winning that FA Cup. They put the brakes on us getting back into Europe. I blame City for that as well, because I think that players were still drunk from winning the title, and they didn't really care about the FA Cup, which they should have, because technically they could have made history by becoming the first team to win the double-double twice, but they didn't. So I was rather disappointed that day with Man City. But I think being out of Europe for that season has helped us a lot, and we've got back in the Champions League, albeit by Man United returning the favour by beating Villa and helping us get back into the Champions League. So should we thank them for that? Maybe not. Maybe we can just say Man U are just doing their job. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on there, Trolls. Absolutely, mate. Baseman Sign says, Rains, are you well, Tony? Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, mate. I hope you're well too. I mean, look, I know we've had a quiet start to this window, but you know what? I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking at all. I believe the signings will come. Maybe some of the signings will come with when the PSR deadline goes past, because then it's into another season, another year of accounts, because I think these ones are from like when the takeover happened and we spent money in that season. So I think that one comes to an end. So then we have a new set of accounts. So yeah, so I'm not panicking about the window one bit. I see some people are panicking online about it, but I'm not panicking. I still believe we'll get the players in. Whether we get the players that are being touted, I don't know. But again, as I say, it's all rumours, and we just look at these players. What he says, Botman's been in the gym since season finished, strengthening that knee. Yeah, and to have a good rest as well, which will do him the world of good, and come back fresh next season, because he is our Rolls Royce defender, by the way. Mason says, have you seen Van Gaal say, Man U are a commercial club? Is that what he said? Oh, God, bloody hell. What he says, City got the nod from the Premier League, let Man U win, and some of the 115, 130 charges will disappear. That wouldn't surprise me. Baseman Rain says, I don't think we'll sign a name striker that will want to play a second fiddle to Isak. I think we should look for an up-and-coming striker from the Championship, someone like Campbell from Sheffield. Yeah, I get that one. I mean, yeah, we're not going to get someone like a Jonathan David who wants to come in and sit and play a second fiddle, and that's the issue. But what we do need is we need a striker who we can rotate with Isak. So say, for instance, we've got Champions League football in the midweek, Isak plays in that game, and then say, no disrespect, but we've got like, say, Burnley or something at the weekend. We could say, right, okay, we'll rest Isak for that game, and the other striker will then play that game and start that game. Maybe Isak can come on as a sub, or just rest him for the whole game. And that'll give him a rest for a week, or it might be just for a few days till we have the Champions League. So at least he's had a week's rest ahead of that. So I think that might be a sensible option. Asula, there's a lot of work left to do on Will Asula, lots of work. But again, I think if you can smooth him out, because I think he's a very rough diamond. So if you can smooth him out, Asula can become a cracking player, and I think he will do. But he's only young and he's very enthusiastic. I don't think he knows half the time what he's doing when he comes on the pitch. Never mind us fans. We don't know what he's going to do when he comes on. And as I say, I don't think he knows either. But we know he's quite capable. Just needs to get that confidence. Joel says, I'm not panicking yet. If we get mediocre English players only, to be fair. Van Gaal said in an interview with Sky. Lee says, afternoon, all us. I can see us bringing in some good players, hopefully 4 players and a few good players out of contract, hopefully get rid of the deadwood. Yeah, hi Lee. Absolutely, mate. I mean, look, there's out of contract players we can get. Absolutely. And there's some good players out of contract. So, yeah, let's let's see what happens, and I'm sure the transfers will come in. It's just a matter of when, Sula is better than Wilson now, to be fair. Yeah, I think Wilson needs to go. I think the best thing Wilson could do is say to the club, look, thank you for the contract offer, but I'm going to go elsewhere and see me career out. I think Wilson should technically drop down to maybe the Championship, go and play for someone like Wrexham or a Birmingham, someone like that. If he went to a Wrexham, he could probably get 15 goals. It may help them to promotion to the Premier League, but I certainly think the Premier League is too much for Wilson now, unfortunately. But he's been absolutely fantastic for us. But I think now's the time for him to go and go elsewhere now, pastures new. Same with John Ruddy as well. Let Ruddy go, because what's the point of hanging on to these players? There's talk of Fraser Forster coming back just to help with the homegrown quota. Don't know how people feel about that one. I don't trust how with transfers, to be honest, says Trolls. Well, we'll just have to trust the process, unfortunately. But then again, I suppose the hierarchy will have the last say on whether we bring these players in or not. So that was the Mark Wee one. And the other one that's still kicking about, and this guy was on a podcast as well, Ben Foster's podcast, and that is James Trafford. So again, back on the radar. Apparently he did say he wanted to join last year, and he did get moody that he didn't get the move to Newcastle, but Scott Parker didn't want him going anywhere. And he had a terrific season, and albeit the Championship. And yes, everybody's going to say, but that's a Championship, yes. So his strengths are his handling, penalty saving and reflexes, but he's got no weaknesses apparently. So last season in the Championship, he played 45 games. He was in Team of the Week 4 times. And he kept 29 clean sheets. Now, obviously, he had a good defence in front of him as well. Had a brilliant defence in front of him. And if we go back to the match, the one that we all know that he played well in, and that was against the Mackhams when he come out with it. That was back in January. And he made 3 saves in that game. His one run out was successful, and he made 3 saves from inside the box, and he saved 2 penalties in that game as well, if you remember, both from Wilson Isidore. 1 clearance, and he won his 1 ground duel, and he didn't have any aerial duels to win, and his 1 dribble attempt was successful as well. So yeah, we all know how well he did in that game. But there was no way they would let him go in January. Absolutely not. His last game of the season was on the 3rd of May against Millwall, where he got a 6.8 rating. He made 3 saves. 1 save from inside the box. 24 out of 31 passes was successful, so giving him a 77% rate. Made 1 clearance. And obviously conceded 1 goal in that game as well. So yeah, so he's had some very good games in the Championship. The Championship is a totally different level. So yeah, so it's a totally different league, the Championship. But as I say, he's back on the radar. But it won't be for the £16 million that we were going to get him for last season. It's going to be about 30 million quid. They're going to be looking for James Trafford. Now, what's people's thoughts on Trafford? He's in the England squad at the moment. He had a great Euros for England in the under-21s when they won it. Which I thought he did terrifically well in that game, in that tournament rather, even though Anthony Gordon was player of the tournament, wasn't he? I mean, look, he's an up-and-coming keeper, and he's young. He's 22 and he's got a long, long career ahead of him, absolutely. And he could even be the England number 1. I'm not massively sold on Trafford, but it's a hard one. It's a hard one. It all depends what Burnley want money-wise. Man City are apparently sniffing around as well to take him back to Man City should Edison leave. So, again, if he came in, I would back him. I would back him 100%. So, while I might not be sold on it, but at the end of the day, if he did come in, I don't think I'd have too much of a problem with that. Let's get into some comments here and see what people are saying. Wilson is as mobile as Wilson from Castaway. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Wilson from Castaway is faster, says Trolls. People talking to everyone. Hi, says Ian Fleming. Hi to you, mate. Hope you're well. If you are Trafford, do you give up a number one spot to come in and play as a number two at the Pope? Well, there's talk about Nick Pope going to Leeds, isn't there? Leeds want Nick Pope now. They want all our players done. They want Wilson. They want Longstaff. They want Pope. I mean, Pope would be a good signing for Leeds, let's be honest. He'd be a solid signing for them. I mean, they've got that Melly, and I don't really rate that Melly. I think he's too erratic. Howe needs to let go of a lot of geriatric players that don't win much in the long run for those, to be fair. Yeah, we got to start getting rid of the old guard. Absolutely. I think are we being too sentimental with players? And that's what I've always said. Are we too sentimental? We seem to be bad sellers, And it's like saying, for instance, you see something in the cupboard that you haven't seen for years. See, you've got a collection of, I don't know what. See, you've got a collection of T-shirts, but you never wear them. But they're just there in the cupboard. And somebody sees them and says, oh, they're nice. What are you doing with that? Do you wear them much? No, not really. Oh, why don't you get rid of them? Put them on eBay, sell them, or, whatever. Put them on a selling site and sell them. And you go, but that one came from such and such. That came from there. I've had this one for a long time. And you're like, oh, I don't really want to let go. And that's similar at Newcastle. It's like, we don't want to let go, but you've got to let go of these players and you've got to let them go. So for me, yeah, we've got to start getting rid of some of them. I agree with the contract for Schär. I think that's a great deal because he's 34, but he's still got that experience. And look, even if Mark Gui does come in and take Schär's place, Schär could be using the Champions League, which is still vital because, look, remember the goal he scored against PSG? We'll never forget that, even though he slipped as well. Fantastic goal. Reports in Italy are saying we're wanting Douglas Luiz. I can't see why we want him when we don't. Where's he going to fit in the midfield? He's not going to get past Joelinton, Bruno and Tonali. Trafford for 25 to 40 million, okay, but read that Burnley wants 35 million plus, and that's too much. Oh, he said 30 million rather. I'm convinced that transfer rumours are generated by players' home club trying to bump up the prices for a bidding war. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Wacky, absolutely. If we sell Pope, we only have Dubs, who's turned 37. Is 37, turned 38. I don't think Dubs will stay. I think Dubs may go because he might think, do you know what? I signed this contract and then I got dropped. If Trafford comes in as number one and Pope goes, who's your number 2 and 3 in case of injury or suspension? That's a good point, Wacky. Schär said he wants to finish his career at the Toon, so I think this season may be his last. Yeah, and then he's going back to Switzerland to his first club and he's going to be a director there. We have let the dressing room gown man go. Too many keepers, need to strengthen the bench as well. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lee. We have to strengthen that bench. And we got to stop putting 2 goalkeepers on the bench as well. We don't need 5 goalkeepers. We we had, I mean, when you think in the past, we used to always have a great goalkeeping unit when we had Shay Given, we had Steve Harper, we had Tim Krul, all at the town at the same time. It was just like, yeah, I agree with that one, absolutely, 100%. I mean, other keepers we've been linked with as well, and we've been linked with a Swiss keeper, Gregor Kobel, from Borussia Dortmund. He's 27 years of age, but again, that's still young for a keeper. Now, I like Kobel, and he's Champions League experience as well. So remember, he's played in the Champions League, and he made some cracking saves against us as well in those 2 games we played against Dortmund. He's worth around about the £40 million mark, but there again, you're going to pay that for a quality goalkeeper, because he has still got 3 years on his contract. But last season in the Bundesliga, he started 32 games out of 32. He got Team of the Week once. He was conceding 1.5 goals per game. He saved none out of the 4 penalties he faced. His successful runouts per game is 100%. That's massive. That's brilliant. He conceded 47 goals, 41 from inside the box, 6 from outside. He made 85 saves last season. 56 from inside the box, 27 from outside the box, and parried 11 of them. And he kept 7 clean sheets as well, and his ball recoveries are 7.9 per game, which is massive. And he had 2 errors that led to a shot, 1 error that led to a goal, and 1 yellow. But again, he's not a bad goalkeeper. He's a decent keeper. So again, as I say, we've looked at Gregor Kobel. Would you want to take him on Kobel? If you had Kobel and Trafford, then maybe you could say, yes, that's a good combo. Because Trafford can learn a lot from Kobel. You see what I mean? So you've got that experience. And so, yeah, I could see that one could work. But then again, you're going to be paying a lot of money for 2 keepers. You're going to be paying over 60 million quid for 2 keepers, which is a lot of money, isn't it? Or you could get Kobel in. And I know there's a goalkeeper that Jay keeps mentioning. And he says he's a very good goalkeeper and he plays for Toulouse. And this keeper's 20 years of age. And he's called Guillaume Restes. His contract ends in 2028. He's worth around about £15 million, so it's not a lot of money. For Toulouse last season, he started 29 out of 29 games. He conceded 36 goals in his box. His successful runouts are 100%. 29 conceded inside the box and 7 from outside. He made 34 saves inside the box, 25 from outside the box. And he parried 10 of those as well. He actually got an assist as well as a goalkeeper. He kept 8 clean sheets last season for Toulouse. He had 1 error led to a goal, none that led to a shot, and he committed 1 penalty as well. And he had 2 yellows all season. But again, as I say, he's only 20 years of age, so he's got a long, long way to go in the game. But again, that would be another one I wouldn't rule out on saying yes to as well. What's your thoughts on that one? Journals calling the Langer a marquee signing as insane. He ain't marquee signing by any means, says Trolls. I say if Dortmund would do a double deal, Moukoko and the keeper. Yeah, that's another one, yeah. What's everyone's obsession with marquee signings? I don't get it. You have like 68 players, need so paying 70, 80 for a player is nonsensical to me, says Wacky. I'm not worried after all. We are resigning. After all, we resigning Wilson, Gillespie and Ruddy. What is there to worry about, says Ian. Oh, God, Ian, honestly. I think Wilson's days are finished in the Premier League. I really do. I think his body's gave up now. I think it's had enough. And you can't blame him because, he's had a lot of injuries. And I think the time now is just to say, look, thank you, Callum, but you have to go. Callum may even make that decision himself, and there's nothing the club can do about it. Ian says, to be fair, Trolls, Elanga is not a bad player. He's not. He's got a lot of pace. Elanga has a lot of pace, and I would definitely go for Elanga. Absolutely. I would take him. I mean, I'd rather have Elanga than Tavernier, Marcus Tavernier. Again, another player that we've been linked with for some reason. And I don't get why we're being linked with him. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Why we are being linked with that player for. Let's see if I can find these stats from last season. Just have a look out of curiosity. So Marcus Tavernier, 26 years of age. We know his brother used to play at Newcastle as well. He can play left wing, right wing, midfield, centre, high press and playmaking is his strengths. He started 20 out of 29 games last season. He got 3 goals and 5 assists. But again, for me, he's not the type of player that I would say, yes, I would be excited about coming to Newcastle United. I think he's more suited to a West Ham or somewhere like that, but not a Newcastle. We need that little bit better quality than Marcus Tavernier. Maybe that's why Bournemouth are looking at Bakayoko for 20 million. Maybe Tavernier's on his way to West Ham United. Or maybe Semenyo's on his way out the club and nobody knows where he's going to if he is. I mean, look at his stats. I mean, he's going to be worth a lot of money. 25-year-old Ghana international. Again, when the African Nations Cups comes up, you're going to lose that player. High presence, his strengths. Left wing, right wing, he can play. Started 36 out of 37 games, got 11 goals and 5 assists last season. So he had a very good season for Bournemouth last season. It's worth around 40 million quid. Bournemouth probably won a lot more than that for him, to be fair. Considering Bournemouth paid about 8 million quid for him back in 2023 from Bristol City. So, yeah. Keeping Wilson as I keeping a broken washing machine makes no sense. I have a feeling that Howe, instead of keeping Wilson and Ruddy, that's why Mitch is leaving, because Howe can't renew our squad. The only thing I can see is a fault with our leader Eddie is holding on to players either through love or loyalty. Is like the analogy of how many have us kept a car too long before scrapping or selling it. Yeah, that's a fair point, Scott. No, that's a fair point, mate, and I get where you're coming from. Even Bournemouth fans have said the same thing, that Eddie Howe was wanting to hang on to players far too long than he should have done. I think the time is now to say it to the likes of Wilson and Ruddy. Thank you very much, but we're not renewing your contracts. Off you go. Look, as I say, I hope Wilson has the sense to turn around to Newcastle and say, look, thank you for the contract offer, but I'm going to go elsewhere. I want to play football. I want to be starting games. I want to end my career on a high. Leave Newcastle on a high. We've won the trophy. So go on the high that we've won the trophy and then go somewhere else. He could go to a Wrexham and quite easily bang in 15 goals in the Championship. Good evening, Tony. Transfer window shuts on Tuesday, then reopens back up a week on Monday the 16th. Oh, I thought it shut today. I thought today was the last day of the window. So maybe it doesn't shut today then. You're right, it shuts on Tuesday. Yes, so actually there is till Tuesday to sign players. So June the 1st to the 10th is the mini summer window. Then you've got the Club World Cup in July. June the 16th to September the 1st, it then opens up again. So, right, okay, then I see. And the Premier League comes back between the 16th and 18th of August. Okay, right, okay, that's interesting. So we've got till Tuesday with this transfer window. I thought, for some reason, I was thinking it was today. I don't know where I saw that, but I saw it was today. But, okay. So it's not the last day of the window. No, not bad at all. Lewis Adams says Bournemouth are getting Bakayoko for 20 million. Are we just sitting with our fingers in our arse? Do you know what it is, Lewis? I agree. I mean, look, Bakayoko, 20 million, I would take him. Eddie Howe could work his magic on him. He's only 21. He's got time to grow and develop, and he's a great winger. Whether Bournemouth get accepted with that offer of 20 million, it's just madness. If you look back to January, Lyon were trying to sell Cherki for 12 to 13 million quid. Why weren't we all over that? Because Eddie Howe said he thought Cherki had an attitude problem, so he didn't want him. But now City are going to take him, and I tell you what, they're going to have a great player in their hands. I would have loved to have Cherki at Newcastle. Some of the clubs are overrating some of the players in price because of they know we have the big money. We should be looking further abroad. Absolutely, Lee. That's exactly what I said. We was after Bakayoko a couple of years back, says Ian. Tavernier fits the house style, high press, and that could be used in more than one position. No, thank you, Wacky. You can go to West Ham, mate. How do we know that keeping the Deadwood is Eddie's decision? Well, yeah, nobody knows, do they? That's a good point, Lewis. That is a very good point, and that's it. Nobody knows. When does the PSL window close? May get a bargain then. 30th of June, that's when the accounts have got to be in. So, yeah, exactly. You may get a PSR bargain. I mean, Villa are sailing close to that win, so I think they may have to cash in on Morgan Rogers. Would you take Morgan Rogers? I think the homegrown quota is a definite factor in retaining some players. PSR window starts the 1st July, so I can't see anyone in before that. I mean, yeah, we might not sign anybody, but who knows? But the thing is, though, Chelsea are looking at Joe Pedro now. They want him for the Club World Cup. And apparently they're looking at Elanga as well. So, look, it's Chelsea are just spending money. And I think maybe our owners need to start looking at maybe selling the women's team to do what Chelsea did and get away with it. That's what we need to do. Why don't we sell our women's team for 200 odd million or something, and then and make the money that way? If Chelsea can do it, we can do it. But then we'll probably get hammered for doing it. Hi, Brian. He says, I do laugh at all these reports saying that they're upset about the prices. What do they expect? We are shopping in the English market. Exactly, Brian. That's why I say we should be going abroad for players. Go to the South American market. There are great players in the South American leagues, like in Brazil, Argentina, and you can pick them up cheap, bring them over, and they could turn out great. Some might not turn out so good, but you're never going to know unless you try. The one that comes to mind straight away is the one we looked at a couple of years ago, called Alan Varela. We could have had him for under 7 million quid. Instead, he went to Porto, and now he's worth over 40 million quid. And that's the thing. You look at Caicedo, he went to Brighton for 4 million quid, went to Chelsea for 115 million. That's what I'm saying. There are gems out there in South America, and I don't know why we don't use that often. Have Liverpool sold that Conor Bradley? Are they selling him? I quite like him. He looks like he's got a great potential. I think they're keeping him. I think they're keeping Conor Bradley. Great show. Thanks, Trolls. And yeah, you too, mate. Take care. What you say, speak to South American cartels to buy 2 kilos of white baller free. Oh, God. Wacky. But I mean, the players we've looked at today, I mean, Mark Wee, would you take him? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. If the price is right, then yes, I'll take him. But the price has got to be right on that. Scott says, I hear a lot of chatter about we need homegrown players for Europe. That's not quite true. My understanding is the rules are the more homegrown players, the bigger the squad you can register for the competition. Yeah, I keep hearing this homegrown thing, and I think, but we've got plenty of homegrown players in the team. But yeah, as I say, this mini window is going to be interesting to see if anybody does come in. If they don't, then we just have to wait till the next window opens on the 16th. But a lot of clubs might not be spending yet until the PSR deadline's over. Brian says, I'm very concerned about Eddie doing the transfers and contract negotiations. Agents will take him up the arse. Do you know what it is? I can't disagree with that, Brian. I really can't, because, I mean, look, people are saying, is Eddie Howe the problem why we are losing sporting directors? Let's look back to Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth brought in Tonali and Isak. Dan Ashworth didn't want Livramento. Let's be honest, he didn't. He thought it was over the top, and he didn't want Lewis Hall because he thought, well, we're overpaid for him as well. I don't think we've overpaid for either of those two, so I think Dan Ashworth did get that one wrong, and Eddie got that one right. So to me, okay, but Dan Ashworth did the dirty on us by running off to Man United. But he did have a fallout with Eddie Howe. Paul Mitchell comes in. Everybody's like, wow, we've got Paul Mitchell. Great. Oh, what? The sky's the limit now. This guy's going to bring in some great young talent. Not only that, also get some great transfers in. Within a couple of weeks of him being there was a big fallout between him and Eddie Howe. And I don't think that's ever been recovered. I don't think it's ever recovered. And then next thing we know, Paul Mitchell's, after the season's finished, I'm going at the end of June. Because he was obviously brought in by Darren Eales. Darren Eales is obviously leaving for medical reasons. And we wish him well in his recovery. So we be getting a new CEO in. But, you know, Paul Mitchell is well renowned for getting talent in. But again, another one that's gone because he can't get on with Eddie Howe. So is Eddie causing the problems between these sporting directors? But the thing is, the sporting director is there to take that pressure off the manager buying players. Eddie's there to coach the team and manage the team. Sporting director deals with all the contracts and everything. So, as I say, where does the problem lie there? I hope we get Anthony Elanga from Forest. Yeah, let's see, David. Let's see. Let's hope. And hope you're well too, mate. We have plenty of players from England, but barely any that are trained at the club. Yeah, I agree, Lewis. I mean, Sean Neve's been on the bench a few times. And that lad's never getting a game. He's on the bench in the Carabao Cup final as well. I mean, that must have been a great day for him to be on the bench. And then to go up there and pick up a medal as well. He must have absolutely thought, God, you know, probably never ever dreamt that day would come as quick as it did. I think for Europe, homegrown is that any players that's been trained at a Prem club between the age of 17 or 22, something that don't need to be Newcastle trained, but I could be wrong. Brian says, may I, that people are forgetting Andy Howe's Pandy. What's the saying in the job that never gets family involved? Yeah, absolutely. I like to see Amanda and Mieta back. They'll do the deals better. I mean, when Amanda was there, the deals were done brilliantly. She's a brilliant negotiator. She was doing really, really well. But again, she left the club, didn't she? And I don't think she would come back, would she? So, it is what it is. David says, who do you fancy for the first game of the season next Wednesday morning, Tony Mate? Yeah, I mean, 18th of June at 9 a.m. The fixtures are released, aren't they? A week on Wednesday. So, do you know what? Who would I fancy at home first game? I would fancy a home game. I would say probably Man City home first game, or Liverpool, or someone like that. Just get them out of the way first. Lewis says it was reported that Paul Mitchell didn't want Eddie. He wanted Poch and also wanted to change the entire style of play. Eddie has earned his right to have the most say. Yeah, look, I agree on that. He has. And look, he's done well, Eddie Howe, hasn't he, for us? You know, he's won us our first trophy in 70 years domestically. Yeah, absolutely. And long may it continue. But obviously, Eddie's going to have to learn to work with a sporting director as well. I'd take me mate Lee Mack at his point. Perfect as a striker. Sunderland, if it's 10-0 tune, I'll get the drinks and says, God, I would love that to beat the Mackhams, wouldn't it? It'd be funny first game of the season, wouldn't it? Mackhams at home. That's going to be great when we're playing the Mackhams. I mean, I know some people are saying, "Oh, let them rot in the championship and that," but you know what? They've come up. Fair play to them. They've come up. Is what it is, and we know they're not going to last long in the Premier League, not with the squad they've got, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting because they're going to lose Joe Bellingham. He's going to Dortmund, isn't he? Or Dortmund, isn't it, for 40 million euros or something? So, you know, they're losing him as well. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. When he moves on to pastures new. What he says, I bet the fixtures will work out. You get to play really hard teams either side of your Champions League games. I can see it now. Do you know what? That wouldn't surprise me at all. That wouldn't surprise me. The Mackhams think they'll stay up. Absolutely not, especially if Luke O'Nine's still there. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's no way they're staying up. Sunderland, they won't have the squad to stay up. I think out of 3 promoted teams, Leeds will probably be the one to stay up. What would be ironic if we don't sign James Trafford and we get Burnley at home first game of the season and we absolutely pound them 4-0 or something, and he has a howler of a game. Fans might look in that state, us Toon fans might look at that and think, God, I'm glad we didn't get him now. Thank God for that. You know, so yeah. We shall wait and see. We shall wait and see on that one. Anyway, guys, this has been a cracking show. And anybody who's come in, if you have missed out on it, you can always go back to the start and watch it again and see the players that we've been looking at. But if you have enjoyed today's show, don't forget to please smash that like. It does help the channel up the search, so please do give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and join this great community here. We are over 6,700 subscribers and continuing to grow, and I thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel. Also, hit the bell notification. That will let you know when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. So there'll be plenty more transfer shows to come, but I won't be doing them too often because I don't want to be people thinking they're getting them rammed down their throats, because there's a lot of transfer shows, and but I will be doing some as well. Leeds are first team to F up financially. We have PSR. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Absolutely, Scott. They've got to, but they have got money to spend, though. That's the thing. What happens if you get Trafford and Pope goes and Trafford has a really shite season? Fans will lose their shit. Well, yeah, that's the chance you take, isn't it? Thank you to Ian. He's been a member for 23 months. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. So yeah, as I say, look, no panic here for the transfer window. Just let the signings roll in. Let's hope the signings that we are happy with. If we're not happy with them, but still back them, because you never know. Some people weren't happy when we signed Anthony Gordon, and I said, look, come on, give the guy a chance. He could turn out to be a great player, and exactly that. He turned out to be a cracking player for us. So let's see what happens. No, Leeds went bankrupt. PSR brought in since. Oh gosh, that's not good, is it? DCL incoming? No, he's not coming to Newcastle United. Certainly not. He can go off to West Ham. I think Man United are after Dominic Calvert-Lewin now. I think that would be a good move for him, actually. So, yeah. So let him go to Man United. But anyway, guys and girls, that's been a cracking show today. And just remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And look, as I say, whatever signings come in, they will come in. And we just have to be patient. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's all about being patient and no panics whatsoever. And let's hope we get the right players in. Anyone seen Højlund to Real Madrid rumour? I think it's a loan deal. I don't think they'll go for that, Man United. I don't understand that one anyway. But anyway, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for watching the show. And I will see you all in the next